Welcome to my 1.18 iron farm tutorial. I haven't made a proper iron farm in 1.18 yet. This is going to be a little different. I'm going to build in a survival. I'm going to give you a materials list. You're going to be able to build this. You're going to be able to center it correctly the first time, every time. It is not going to suffer from center shift. It's not going to suffer any issues with having to break and replace POI, workstation specifically. It's not going to have any of those problems. This is quite possibly the most perfect iron farm. So let's just jump into it. Okay, I want to talk about a few things. You're going to need a couple of tools. You're going to need something to break blocks with in case you place one accidentally or something like that. You're going to need something to eat probably because of the way the new food mechanics are and stuff. You're going to need a way to determine which direction is north. Now, I'm going to use a pumpkin, but you could also use an empty locator map. People tell me that you can use crafting tables. There's a lot of ways to tell which direction is north. You are going to need approximately 7 stacks of blocks. It doesn't matter what kind of blocks. It needs to be a solid block. Think stone, dirt, things like that. No glass, no leaves, no non-solid blocks is what I'm getting at. What you're going to need is solid blocks, 7 stacks of them. These are optional. I'm going to put these in to show you the important blocks and where to measure out from. So these are optional. These are for this video only. You're going to need 1 lava bucket. You're going to need 24 signs. You're going to need 2 buckets of water so you can make an infinite water source. You're going to need 20 beds. You're going to need 20 villagers. Now, 20 villagers is optional also. You can get by with 10 if you want reduced rates. If you only do 10 villagers, you only need 10 workstations. But if you do 20 villagers, you're going to need 10 workstations of each type. You're going to need 8 hoppers and 1 chest. Okay. Now, that is the end of the materials you're going to need. Now, I want to mention one other thing, and I'm not going to show it in this tutorial, but you will need to trade with these villagers to lock their professions. So you will need some emeralds or whatever that they need to trade, because you'll need to trade with these villagers in order to lock their profession. This is what we need to get started. You're going to find you a suitable location. We're going to build ours right here. You are going to need to place down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these are going to be temporary blocks. 1, 2, let's see. So we're going to build this pattern just like this. We're actually going to build it up 4 blocks. That's correct. Okay. And because we're doing this in survival, we will need a way to get up there. And we're going to place our blocks like so. Okay, now you should have something that looks exactly like this. Oh, we need our red blocks. I forgot to grab those. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mark these blocks right here specifically. Specifically these blocks, you're going to want to mark them. And you're going to mark those the pillows of those beds, okay? Now, out from these 4 blocks, you're going to count 8 blocks in every direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, just like that, but in every direction. And it will give you a platform that is 18 by 18. Okay, now you should have an 18 by 18 platform. Take out your pumpkin or your map or however you're determining which direction is north. Now, if you look at the top of a pumpkin, it always faces northwest. So that is north and that is west. And what this tells us is that we need to add an extra block on the north side and the west side. We will just grab everything else at this point. Now, I am going to switch into creative to place the water because I find placing water manually to be terrible. Back to survival. Now, you want to find this little 3x3 area right here. And what you're going to want to do is go up 2 blocks like that. And you're going to want to go out 3 blocks like that. Okay? Same thing on every side. And if you want to make this a little easier on yourself, just come out here, place your block like that, hop up on it. Now you're gonna say, well, you can place the signs before you place the water. Not exactly, because you wouldn't know exactly which side is going to be short. I mean, I guess you could check it with the pumpkin first, and you could work that out, but I find it far easier to just do this. Okay, we've done those. Come over here and do this corner. And I'm doing this in survival because I want you to understand that it can be done in survival so easy. This is an easy farm to build. And it's an easy farm to get correct. And once we have it finished, we have it built, I'll go into the explanation of how it works. I know a lot of you don't care how it works. You just want to hear the explanation. I mean, you just want to see the tutorial. What you want to do is you want to place your chest just like that. And you can do as of an elaborate collection system as you want to do. I'm going to place a single chest and leave the rest of that up to your imagination. So you want to crouch place that into the chest. And then crouch place oh wow, I crouch placed that way out here, huh? Okay. And it doesn't really matter how you place these. Okay, that is pretty much the entire iron farm. The only thing left now is to place the villagers. And you actually have a couple of options here. Now, what I'm going to show is them being placed in a pod. But if you wanted to set up a trading hall under here, that would be fine also. Just like that. So let's hope we don't have any nitwits or babies, okay? 2 nitwits per pod is fine. You don't want any more than that. You don't want any babies, especially not in this first set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, perfect. And because we had all 10, we want to place 2 more of those workstations. And now all our villagers are safe. And we want to come on this side and do the exact same thing. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Eventually, those two babies will grow up. So I'm going to leave them. As long as we have at least 16 adult villagers that are working that are not nitwits, everything is fine. That's it. That's the tutorial. We'll switch it to sunrise like that. We'll fly up. Because enough villagers have started working, we started spawning golems instantly. And that is the tutorial. Now, how this works. The pillows of these beds, one of these columns is going to be the center of this village. Guaranteed. Our last video showed that there is a true center block for each village now. And it's going to be based on one of these beds in this scenario. It isn't always going to be based on a bed, but in this scenario, it is going to be based on one of these beds. And because we know that we can spawn 6 blocks above this bottom bed, that means we can stack up to 5 beds and still be able to spawn golems here on top of the blocks. So we've minimized the number of potential centers down to 4, which is the minimum you could minimize it to. And because we measured out 8 blocks from every one of these potential center blocks, now the golems will always spawn on that platform. They have nowhere else to spawn. And we actually made the platform 1 block larger to the north and to the west because golems are 2 by 2. And we wanted to maximize all our spawning spaces. And we also wanted to have an odd number of blocks so that we could have a center of the farm. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all the water would flow towards the center. And of course, these are unbreakable pods. If you traded with these villagers, updates wouldn't break this. They would just maintain those pods and this farm would continue working. This is the kind of farm that you will never have to mess with again. If you trade with these villagers and lock their professions, this farm is essentially maintenance free. The pods will maintain themselves. The center, we won't have a center shift problem. You can easily build this farm. You can align it yourself. This is quite possibly the easiest farm I've ever designed with the least amount of maintenance ever required. Now, if, and I say if, you want to take these villagers and you want to spread them out underneath here as a trading hall option, you can do that. Just know that on updates and things like that, you may have to go back in and break the workstations and reassign them to each villager. However, what you won't have is center shift problems. So even if you have to come back and break the workstations, if you build a trading hall here, it's still not that big a deal. So thank you for watching. Peace, love, and birch. Be good to each other. Thank you.